Are you seeing synchronized numbers, also known as angel numbers like 111, 222, 333, or even your birthday? Or maybe you're walking down the street and you keep finding feathers and silver coins, or maybe you turn on the radio and you hear a song that sounds familiar or bringing you a message, and you're like, how did this song pop up all of a sudden when I needed this message? What I'm here to tell you guys that all of these signs are from God. These are signs that was delivered to you from your angels from God, okay? No matter what someone has said, that don't listen to that, don't listen, there's no angel numbers, that's evil. I'm telling you, it's all from God, okay? God give us a team, guys. That's one thing you need to understand, that we have a team. We are born with a team, angels and guides that are guiding us along the way. This lifetime, life is hard, right? Life is hard. So we need help. God knows we need help. But we call on God, and God's saying, okay, I got you. I got you. Let me send your team in to help you. Let me send your team in to get you out of this mess. Let me send your team in to throw you a lifeline so you can be able to move to the next step. Hi, Sun and Sunsets. My name is Sierra Meeks, and I am here to tell you, back in 2017, I had a myriad of miracles happen to me from 2017 to 2018. 11 months, from July of 2017 all the way up until June of 2018, a myriad of miracles. And I was led by the signs. The signs were showing up for me in order for me to listen, pay attention, hold on to your faith, know it's all good, don't get shook up, just take the ride and know that all is well. It's going to come out for your greatest good. And that's exactly what happened, guys. Back in July of 2017, I was down on my luck. I was so in debt, and I was begging my dad to help me, because that's what my mom told me to do. Beg God, beg your dad, do whatever you can to get those bills paid, to keep a roof over your children's head. I had a 19-year-old and a 9-year-old, and my 19-year-old was home from college, his first year out of state college. He decided to go to college in state, so now he wanted a car. And he wanted a car, and I was behind a month on my rent, and my other son's birthday was coming up. He wanted a birthday party, and so I didn't know what to do. The first thing for me was get this rent paid. You're 30 days late. Get this rent paid ASAP. So one day I was talking to my guru, the one who taught me numerology, and I was telling him about what I was going through and why, asking him why, and is this, this is a good time in my life. I'm supposed to be having so much fun and doing this, and now all of these bills are piling up, and I wanted to do a documentary at the time about numerology, and that was not happening. And so he told me something that I could do, and he said you can either do it in the morning or you can do it at nighttime. And when you do this, whatever you're asking for will come true. And never heard of it, but hey, it sounds better than begging God, pleading, asking for favor. It sounded better than asking my dad for money to pay the rent, because my dad had already said, listen, you're going to be homeless. You're going to be homeless. Your children are going to hate you, and you're not going to have a roof over your head, and I'm not going to help you. And that's exactly what he said. God rest his soul. And we've all been there, and you stay up all night, you're worrying, but you're still seeing these signs, 1111, 111. You're thinking like, what is this? Why do I keep seeing this all the time? So I talked to my 9-year-old son, and my 19-year-old son, I said, you guys, let's do this. Well, my 19-year-old son says, no way, I'm not doing that. I don't believe in that. I don't have faith in that. That's not going to work. And my 9-year-old said, okay, Mom, let's do it. Let's do this prayer, right? And then my oldest son said, well, if y'all gonna do it, then ask for a car for me then, to see if it's gonna happen. And I told my 9-year-old, we're gonna do this, and I don't know what's gonna happen, but this is our only chance, and we're gonna give ourselves 10 days. And in 10 days, we're going to do this for 10 days. And in 10 days, we're going to go look for Julius a car. Now, my plan was just to get money for the rent, but my son wanted a car, and so I knew I could not afford to buy him a car because my rent was due, but I was going to show him that I am supporting him. So we were going to look for a car, and I'm here to tell you guys, in 10 days, not only did we go look for him a car, but I bought my son a car, piled up with debt, no rent due, rent overdue, 30 days overdue, and we could not believe it. I put everything in this book right here, Numbers, Angels, and God. In 2017 and 2018, I went through a course of miracles, literally. That was just the first one, and I can sit here and tell you everything that happened with the day we bought that car to make your hair stand up on your head and on your body. But you got to get the book and read it for yourself, and because that's not just the only thing. Right after that, my son was praying for his party. He had a big party. Rent still due, going on 2 months. Right after that, I bumped into someone and said, hey, have you ever thought about buying a house? And I wasn't praying for a house. I was praying for money for rent because the rent was now 3 months due. But my 9-year-old was praying for a house. And I was telling him that, no, I'm not looking for a house. I can't even pay rent. And I told him my story. And we were out walking at a park one day and told him my story. And he said, well, if you have never bought a house and you don't know what your credit is, and I can help you. Maybe you can get this first-time home buyer. And I said, that sounds interesting. Never heard of it. And kept talking. And he said, but if you get evicted, I can't help you. Well, guys, after those 3 months, I got evicted. And by that time, my 19-year-old was in college. He was in school in his dorm, and it was just me and my 9-year-old. And we were still doing the candle, but I did get evicted. But the day I got evicted, I was seeing 555s everywhere. Bring them. When I brought my son to school, they were, every time somebody would jump over in front of me, 555, they would leave, and then another person, 555. I would look at everywhere I looked, all I could see was 555. I was not prepared to be evicted because I knew I was going to be rescued. I thought my dad was going to pay it. I thought somebody was going to be able to lend, but it had lend me some money. It had got up to like $9,000, okay? What happened after that was even more miracles. Already at 8 o'clock that morning, my manager told me that she could not keep me there any longer, that I would have to leave the apartment, be evicted. But what she did not tell me is that they was not going to take anything out of my house, that I can do it anytime and just bring her the key. So here I am, scuffling and seeing all these 555s, dropping my son off at school, coming back and saying, hey, I got to pack. Everything is going crazy. Everything is upside down. I don't know what to do. I don't know. I was going crazy in the mind, but also strong in the mind. Some strength had came from somewhere. I was pulling people. I was calling people to come help me pack up my things because I did not want to see my things outside of that gate. I had saw them already that morning putting other people's things outside of the gate, and I lived in a luxury apartment, okay? They were putting people's things outside that gate, and my manager, by the time I got through packing my things, everything that I wanted to take in that U-Haul, she came and said, hey, you don't have to rush. No one is going to take your things out. I've already told them, do not come and take anything out of her house. Bring me the keys when you're done. It could be 2 days from now, 3 days from now. It doesn't matter. Just bring the keys when you're done. Take your time. And I could not believe it. After I was rushing, but I did not tell you that my 9-year-old, not only has he been praying for a house, but he had a 5th grade camping trip that day that I was the room mom and I had to travel 2 hours or get on the bus to go with them. I packed the apartment up, and then as I'm walking out, I'm like, 2 days? Like, well, it's okay. It's already packed up now. She drove off, and then she turned around and came back, and she said, this would never be on your credit. You can go and get anything that you want to get. So don't worry about not being able to go find a place after this apartment. Now, mind you, I had already talked to this guy, right? Who said, you want to look for a house? But if you get evicted, I can't help you. Guys, I'm here to tell you, I bought a house, and it was not a first-time home buyers. And I'm jumping the gun because it's so many miracles in this book that led me to getting the house. I bought the house. My credit was better than I thought it was, almost 700. I was approved for a $250,000 home at that time, and it was hard to find a home in 2017 because there was so many people looking for houses and buying houses like crazy back then. But if I didn't see the signs, I would have fell in depression and lost it. If my dad had paid my rent, I would not have known that I could have bought a house. So this is why I'm telling you, pay attention to the signs. Pay attention to the signs because they will help you. They will help you stay sane. They will help you keep the faith. They will help you know that God is listening to you. God is watching you. God is working on the back end. But He's sending His angels, your angels, to help you. Okay? So after that happened, and I found a house finally. It took me a long time because so many people wanted a house. My son had a car. My other son had his party. Everybody was happy. No, we were happy. My son was happy, but I could not lose the faith. So many miracles was happening to me that I stayed on my grind. I made sure that I stayed in faith, in full faith, and I wouldn't talk to nobody about what was going on. Everybody said, she's not getting a house. How in the world can she get a house when she have an eviction? She's not getting no house. Even my own family said that I was not getting a house, but I stayed in full faith that it was happening because everything else happened, right? When it came down to the down payment, putting the down payment on my house, I had all the money. And then I was told that I needed $2,000 more. Now, I didn't know where this money was going to come from because now I'm already living with my friend for this last month so I can save money. I went outside, guys, on the day that she called and told me that I needed $2,000 more. I went outside and I'm like, God, where am I going to get this money from? Everything has been falling into place. I've had these miracles after miracles after miracles after miracles happening throughout this whole process. God, please tell me that we're not going to get down to the last nitty gritty, and because of $2,000, I'm not going to be able to get this house. And let me tell you guys, first I called my kids dad and I'm like, hey, do you have the money in your 401k? And he was like, no, which I knew he was going to say that. Then I went back inside of my job after walking around talking to God. I went back inside of my job and I sat down at my computer, and this was in May. And do you know that my CEO said everybody is getting an unexpected bonus tomorrow in their bank account? I'm telling you guys, pay attention to the signs. Do you hear me? An unexpected bonus in May. I've been at that job for 5 years. That had never happened before. We normally get our bonuses in December around our Christmas party time. But this unexpected bonus came in and it was only $200 short of what I needed. Isn't that something? That last $200, I called my dad because it had to be the next day. It needed to be in the bank so they can see how much it was that I had that in the bank. I called my dad and I told him that, and I hadn't talked to my dad all these months since he said I was going to be homeless. that my kids were going to hate me. I didn't talk to him anymore. I cut off the communication because I needed to focus on staying on the right path, staying in full faith. I called my dad and told him I was $200 short, and he gave me the money. And I said, when I get paid, I'm going to give it right back to you. And I did the next week. But he gave me that $200 because I needed it that day. Guys, that's not it. Once I signed my paperwork, it was done. My bank, who I went through to get the loan for the house, the borrower, this particular person I was working with, I don't want to call her name out, but she found a grant. Do you hear me? She found a grant for me. All that money that I saved for my down payment, they gave it back to me in a check once my paperwork was done. They handed me my keys and they handed me a check. Do you hear me? And I bought brand new furniture, beds, everything. I'm telling you guys, miracles are real. And I did this with doubt, okay? This happened with doubt. I was leaning on my 9-year-old for his support, right? Because after I was asking for rent didn't happen. I started saying everything that he was saying on his list, because that's what was happening. This book has everything. This memoir, that's why I called it a memoir. And I'm here to tell you guys that I never have promoted my book. I've never promoted this book because this story was for me and my kids. And if once I have grandkids and their kids, that's what this book was for. That's who it was meant to be for me. So I could not forget none of the steps that happened. So I put it all in a memoir, and I published this in 2019. Never promoted this book. I will order copies and just give them away to people just so when they were down and out, when they felt like they could not hold it together, and they felt like that was faith God had gave up. Guess what? I am selling this book, guys, now for $10.10. That's how much this book is going for, $10.10. Buy this book if you are down on your luck. If you are seeing angel numbers and you don't know what they mean, if you are in a pile of debt and don't know how it's going to work out, if you have things that are due, you don't know how you're going to pay your rent, buy it and do what I did. Matter of fact, I'm hosting a masterclass where I'm going to work with you for 5 days. Work with you for 5 days on the principles that I did and the practices that I did in order to have this miracle cycle happen, okay? It can happen. So if you are interested, the link is below to purchase this book. The link is below if you want to join this masterclass that I'm going to host on March the 10th. I will be selling I won't say tickets because it's not tickets, but I will keep it open until the 9th in order for you to purchase this class. Okay, guys? The time is now, and let me tell you the reason why I've decided right now to talk about my book is because I sold the house. All of this time, I bought that house in 2018, and I just sold the house. And because I outgrew the house, it was a starter home. It was 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, but I outgrew this house. I have 2 dogs now. We needed a bigger home. And I followed the steps again, and the signs started showing up again. And I sold that house, and I said I'm going to do the same thing I did before to purchase a new house. So if you want to come with me and do what I did so we can manifest and create miracles to show up in our lives, not just 1, not just 2, not just 3, a myriad of miracles to show up in your life, then the time is now. God told me the time is now. If you want to do this over again, I allowed you to write the book and not talk about it. But you have to talk about the book now. people need this now. They need to know that they can manifest miracles out of nothing. Even in doubt, you can manifest miracles to happen. You have to follow these simple steps, and they will guide you to get on that miracle cycle, okay? I promise you. I'm not promising results because I don't know how you think. I don't know if you have some blockages of doubt in you, like I did, okay? And how much you have in you that you would give up on it. But I'm telling you, it isn't worth it. It's worth to take the ride. I bought my son a car. I had that huge $1,500 party. I don't remember how much it was, but it was a lot. Party for my son in the midst of me going through an eviction, in the midst of me being 3 months late on my rent because I had faith that it was going to work. I was doing what I was supposed to do. Once they said yes to that car, and I kept going, everything kept going. But I had to step out. If I would have stayed in my mind of negativity, saying I can't go buy your car, I can't do this, we got to get this rent paid, are you crazy about asking me a car? And they didn't know what was going on. But I followed the steps, I followed the signs, and that's what it led me down that path of a myriad of miracles. A myriad of miracles. And if you've ever had a miracle in your life, at least one, put that down below in the comments and let me know the miracle that happened in your life. But I had plenty, all wrapped around this one. All of the miracles happened based on my son's list. Okay, that's a big part about it. But if you want to read step by step, because there's so many in here, I mean so many things in here. Just like when I told you I walked outside, and if you feel like this is something you can do on your own, just get the book. Get the book. Pay $10.10 to get this book today. If you feel like it's something that you can do on your own, if you feel like you want to be in the class, get the book and be in the class. We hear people talking all the time. I even heard this lady say the other day that she bought $1 million house with no money. Okay? $1 million house with no money and with doubt. So miracles happen every day. It's just how big your mind can say, I believe. How big you can have space for faith. How big you can have faith for your dreams, okay? That's what matters. Because if we try to downplay it and say, you know what, I don't believe we can, I don't want to think that big, or I don't want to dream that big, I just want to ask for a little bit, I just want to ask for favor. One thing that I have learned to stop asking for favor, I no longer ask for favor because I don't need to ask for favor. My source, the creator of all, he's not a one-time stop shop type of God. Miracles happen all the time, as many as we want. Every day we wake up in a miracle. It's just the mindset. So again, if you want to be in this masterclass with me and go down there and do this again, I'm hosting a 5-day masterclass. Okay, the link is below. If you want the book, the link is below. And definitely sign up to be on my newsletter so you can hear all the exciting things that are happening, that I am doing. I am getting out here. I stayed behind the shadows for a long time. I had a YouTube channel. I talked about numerology, but I've never discussed my book. I've never discussed my book. But now I have to, because I have to get a new house and we have to start all over again. And I would love to bring you guys along with me for the ride. So if this sounds good to you, click that link below. Also, let me know what miracles have happened to you in your life, okay? Give this video a thumbs up, share it. What else? Subscribe if you're not a subscriber, and definitely keep in touch, all right? Bye for now.